All right, everybody, and good morning. It's BCB Live with split screen. We got Rick and I doing it in a different way. What's going on, Sir Rick? You are not in studio. You are out on the road again, Mr. Travel Guy.
Yeah, I'm a roadie. I almost feel like I look like Trey too from the show. I'm looking at this right now.
Yeah, he's got a good look. You're gonna have to work on that look.
I'm a little shade. It makes you wonder, like, who is this mysterious Sir Rick? So, I'm digging that side. So, Dave, I had my volume all set up because I was telling you before we got on air, like, dude, you just don't sound right. You sound this. And so I had my volume turned way up, and then the show starts, and now you give me like your Drive Safe Dave voice. And I was trying to get you to get me that to begin with, so I didn't have to do this. And it's like in stereo here, Bose speakers, everybody's turning around looking, and come on, Drive Safe.
Well, I don't know. I'll try. Let's see. Where do you want me to go? I go middle of the road. I go.
You
deep.
Can't go middle of the road. You go hardcore every time, brother. I'm good right there. I should have known, and I was like, man, there's something wrong with the speakers.
There's some. I was just talking.
You sound normal, and that was weird.
I was talking in that deep, Friday evening voice, and here we are on the Friday morning voice. Hey, it is going on a lot. So I said Mavs in 7, and we're at 3-3, headed back to Phoenix. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're going to be 100% right. They're either going to win or lose in 7. So you didn't say which way, so you said Mavs in 7. And listen, we've gone to Game 7. Miami Heat, though, they take it yesterday, so they're up. They advance.
I think we could take Miami easier than we could the Sun. I mean, I'm just saying. I think I just feel
we still got a game to go to after that. So yeah, so Mavs, hopefully they can. They just haven't done well at Phoenix, and Phoenix is it's just the home teams in general have done pretty well throughout this tournament here. We had Miami win at Philadelphia yesterday, but in general the home teams have done fairly well. Drive Safe, it's home. When you're playing, listen to this. So, and this is as good of an analogy, but there's a thing called home field advantage.
Yes,
and we've seen it in sports, Dave, and we take it to the war. And you know what? We're seeing it over there as well. There's a thing about home field advantage. You know where all the hiding spots are. You're at home. You're protecting your house, and I think it brings out a different level of of fight out of you, of adrenaline out of you when you're doing it at home. Yeah. I think we're seeing the same thing in Ukraine, Drive Safe Dave, as we continue to hear stories about the Ukraine just pushing back and getting back a little bit more of their territory as well, right?
Yeah, up in the north, in the northern part of Ukraine, they actually made great advances yesterday around the city of Kharkiv, which they haven't had for months, and pushed some of the Russians back towards the border. I will tell you, I don't know if they're gaining ground or if the Russians are solidifying some of their positions in the south, trying to maintain that landlocked chain over to.
Are you saying that Russia may be finally starting to use some strategy?
Yes.
Because there just hadn't seemed to have been a lot of strategy involved in this. I think with anything, and listen, no matter what you do, you got to plan for it, right? And go through the ups and the downs and supply chain. Still what surprises me, how the supply chain really came into impact and still is involved in this war, right? Getting all those missiles to the Ukrainians, or Russia doing the exact opposite, getting that fuel line, getting that ammunition down. Boy, how supply chain, I think we learned so much about supply chain this last year. Whether it's war, it's going to make you think different, Dave, no matter what happens. And obviously our industry, the supply chain, getting product, from the, the baby formula to the diapers to the toilet paper to what we saw. Boy, we have seen so many changes involving supply chain in all over this country.
Yeah, I don't know any time in my lifetime that I have seen such great shortages on the shelves or whatever it is. It is not uncommon. I mean, when was the last time national backorder wasn't something that you heard as much as you hear today. And it's just become a thing that everybody's kind of gotten accustomed to. Oh, okay. National back order, that means they can't get it. That means that, they're having a hard time getting what they need. When was the last, would you have ever settled for that 5 years ago? I mean, 3 or 4 years ago, would you ever settle for national back order on every item that you called about? I mean, you would.
Yeah, and you bring that up, and again, I think that so the more you use those terms, again, we as a country, as an industry, one thing we're not good at, Dave, and though we accept it today, understand that we're looking for a solution to it.
Oh yeah.
We just don't, and it's usually driven in some kind of technology, some kind of advancement. It also often creates somebody, an entrepreneur, to go out there and create a job to help take care of all of that. I think we as this country and I'm going to brag on us here in the United States. One thing we're good at is figuring stuff out. We don't like to pay for a lot. We don't like to pay for fuel this high. We don't like to pay for overpriced anything. And when we can use that's the technology. We've seen the advancements in technology, Dave, in everything. And we've seen more since COVID, especially in the supply chain. We've seen a lot of smart people invest into the supply chain. There's a lot more. I wonder what that number is. There's definitely been, I bet you it's a
shift.
20x, 20 times investment in the last year than what we've seen in the previous 5 years.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, and there's no doubt. And not only that, we look at it and sure, we can see things like baby formula, which is, nobody wants to hear a hungry baby cry, right? Nobody. That to me is devastating in and of itself, I think, by our human nature. But we truly have to find a solution for this high price of fuel quickly and sooner than what they're predicting. I think we're in such a dilemma. I think our inflation is direct result of the cost of this fuel. I think it has a pivotal point. And I think it's going to stagger and stagnate our economy if we can't get more supply, more fuel out there and drive the price down. It doesn't look like demand is diminishing at all, does it? I mean, it just doesn't look like.
Yeah, for sure. You're not seeing. Well, you know what? We do see. It demand's kind of. I think it's from what you look at and what you see now. It's kind of it's leveled off, and I think it's kind of the new norm where we are now. And again, when we talk about new norms in supply chain, we go back to August 27th, September 1st, whatever you want to use, of 2020. That created that was a new norm. And since we've had the war, and the fuel, since the fuel has spiked, inflation is where it is, we have a new norm in transportation and in spending again within the United States. I think we're on track, Dave, for a new line. I think we're teetering right around that 12,000, 12.2. I think rejections we're going to continue to see going down. Dave, fuel's at $5.59 a gallon. That's the one thing. So we say, well, what can change the CPI, all of these consumer price, their confidence level? What can change how we spend our money? My God, is diesel, is fuel. If that's not a player, Dave, let me tell you, it is crazy. You hear, traveling yesterday, you hear people complain about the price of gas. Yep. And don't get me wrong, gas is high, but Dave, it's $5.59 a gallon just nationwide for diesel right now.
Yep.
We're not talking California. We're not talking some of the Northeast. We're talking on average $5.59 a gallon at the pump. That is going to change this entire. That's the one thing that will make a bigger play, Dave, and than the fuel is, because that's getting passed back on to that shipper, which gets passed back to us, the consumer, once again. So not only are we paying it on the gasoline prices, when diesel stays as high, Dave, it's a pass through. It ends up back in our lap. We now have to spend more for product that all of a sudden we quit ordering just as little much. They've got to get diesel under control.
Yeah,
that's a double whammy to the consumer.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just, what it does, it's just going to continue to drive like this, and as long as it stays this high, it has to, and that's what I was talking about. They're not anticipating the Fed and everybody that I'm talking to or listening to in the news. They're all saying, don't even think about it through the summer. It's the norm through the summer. Don't anticipate it to go much away until August and September for it to come down. Now, they do believe that it may level off a little, but they don't anticipate it to drop.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hearing.
Makes
no
sense.
Dropping.
Can I tell you what's dropping? And that's that spot rate to that carrier, that spot carrier. And again,
absolutely.
Dave, so much is being made right now about the gloom and doom, and I think we're finally maybe done using the gloom and doom terminology on things. But what we're seeing is still that carrier, and I will use gloom and doom because it is gloom and doom if you began a company last year. Yep. It is gloom and doom, Dave. Not if you created a broker. I'm not talking to the brokers, but if you went out there, did your dream, Dave, and there's nothing wrong with the American dream, right? You get it, you look at the numbers, and I think what so many people missed out on is, once again, much like 2018, we expected this to last a long time. And these big jumps, these big, whether it's up or down, it seems like it seems like the downs last a lot longer than the ups, right? The bad times, they seem to last for decades. But the good times in transportation, the good times in these pricing, what we've seen, they don't last long. And for some reason, we jump all in on these things. And the carriers, these guys that went out last year and opened up their business, that had that American dream to create a trucking company last year, it's gloom and doom for them. There's no chance, Dave, they pull out of this thing. If you're telling me diesel is going to stay where it is for 3 months, I give them 3 months and they're out of business because their price is going to keep going down. Diesel's going up. There's no chance they make it. They can't make it if they paid that much money, if they got into business last year.
Or even in January, right? In January, they still had.
Oh my God! If January, if their New Year's resolution was to start a new company and to do this is what I'm going to do. Wow, dude! I mean, well, they started off on fire for a week, and boom, nothing but doom, nothing but downward.
Yeah, it hadn't gotten any better, and it's going to continue to get worse. I'm telling you, there are. Look. Right now, we've talked about this, and I truly believe that some of the owner operators probably need to find protection out there underneath somebody that has underneath a company that has secured rates in place with fuel. I believe there is a solution for some of those people, and and I think what they'll have to do is reconfigure their business model, and then go under the umbrella or the protection as a leased operator, like as an owner operator underneath the protection or umbrella of a larger company, one that has secured rates.
Yeah, and Dave, that's a good point. So maybe we owe it to them instead of me saying the doom and gloom for them. Maybe what we need to do is put a show on, get a couple people on this thing, and talk about the success. Because again, I'm going to tell you this is that unfortunately, we deal with this every day in our industry, especially on the independent contractors that are out there, especially some of these new folks that have just gone out there. They look at the top line revenue. And Dave, at the end of the day, would you rather make a lot of money on the gross or make a lot of money on taking home? Which would you rather do?
I want to take it home.
You want to take it home. And
I want to take it home.
But we got to get back to the basics, I think, on that, on some of these newer independent contractors that are focused so much on what they're making. Well, I was making $3 a mile last year. Well, you're not going to make it anymore.
No.
So now what we got to do is focus on what you said, Dave, cheaper insurance. We got to focus on the fuel surcharge, the discounts, and even getting fuel. What you want to do right now as an independent contractor, if you're out there, is take more money home for your honey, right? Take more money home, not make more per mile. It's not the same thing. How do you take more money, Dave? Maybe that's a way that we can get some great industry, professionals out there, experts out there, and drive maybe a 3-part show on this. Maybe some trucking companies that are able to participate and show how they can make a better life for some of these independent. And I'm talking about getting them home. I'm talking about the consistency, because right now what needs to happen is they've got to really focus on that budget, that consistent check home. How are you going to make it? Because it's going to be, Dave, we know we still have holidays coming around too, right? We got July 4th, and we have, in general, more of a downward spin before the freight starts picking back up again. Get yourself in position. Make sure that you have consistent insurance. And Dave, unfortunately, too, when the rates go down and you're an independent, it doesn't matter if you're a company when you start struggling, what's the last thing that gets your attention?
Your equipment.
Your equipment, the
Your
maintenance side, and once again, the advantage that
safety.
some of these larger companies can do in providing them discounts. Maybe they have a shop in house. So there's a lot of companies out there, great folks that maybe we can reach out to get involved with the independent contractors to get them more, to drive more success to them.
Yeah, and I'm just going to tell you that the downward turn on rates and prices has affected everybody in the business. Don't think that even though even though any company out there that they're protected by some of their contracted rates, they felt some of the success of the open market too. But I think if you go into, you work under a specific umbrella, taking home something, taking home some money and making some money is way better than losing every week. Digging into your savings, digging in there, and then not being protected, not understanding that there will be down moments. There will be times when you've got to get something fixed. When these trucks, they, believe it or not, I've been doing this a while, and I don't know of a single truck that doesn't break down. I don't know of one that doesn't have a mechanical issue at some point, and every mechanical issue that I've ever dealt with costs money. It doesn't just cost money with the part. It may be a warranted part, but I can tell you the labor's not, and I can tell you the downtime doesn't burn you any cash, and it just takes away, and you can't get that back. If you're down for 3 days, you can't get that back. And
just a great time to make sure you got to make sure you're aligned yourself with a company right now.
Absolutely.
And David, and again, what we need to stress to these folks is, let me tell you, man, there's a lot of pride that goes in opening your own company. Let me tell you something. This country was built on entrepreneurs. Love the entrepreneur, Dave. We understand that spirit of you, but there's also a time that you've got to look at the numbers. And when we look at where the numbers are going today, when we look at the rate per mile today, you've got to make sure that you're following the numbers. Let the numbers help you drive your decision on what you're going to do next. Right. We're not saying, we're not telling you to full throw in the towel in right now. But what we are asking you is to know where you're going, know your budget, know what you are going to do. What's the rate that you are going to get? Understand that when you have that July 4th holiday, that you're going to have to, the country tends to shut down the following week as well. Are you ready for that? Do you know how you're going to do it? Are you getting all the optimization that you can get today? Are there places out there that you can use today that get you cheaper fuel?
Right.
Dave, and even while you're going today, if you can save another nickel or 8 cents on fuel, you do it, because that's straight cash. If a gallon, I know 8 cents a gallon or 5 cents a gallon at 600 gallons a week is it doesn't sound like much, but it is a lot towards the end of the year. Everything you can do right now, you've got to do it. Dave, let's talk a little bit on that. Okay, so if you're an independent contractor down there and it's 90 degrees and you're sitting down, you may have to shut your truck off. You may have to, once again, shut the truck off and sweat tonight, because is it worth it, the fuel that you're wasting? Or
$50.
Grab a cheaper hotel.
Yeah, $50 or $80 or whatever it is if you're going to be down for 10 hours or 11 hours or even 12 hours before your next load. I'm going to tell you this, and I'm just going to say to you, it may make sense to go inside to the truck stop wherever you are and watch a movie in there in the movie room, or go in.
Great
idea.
And hang
out and read a book.
You can get out of the truck, right?
Get out of the truck.
Keep that truck shut off.
Any money. And look, if there's a break room, right, where you're going to the shipper or the receiver, turn the truck off. And you know what? If you save 30 minutes here and 30 minutes there and 30 minutes there, and you save a number of them, you're going to save yourself another $150 for the week. $150 is real cash. And then the most significant one is this. And I'm just going to tell you, trying to race between loads in a hurry is not safe, but it also burns an incredible amount of fuel. Just slowing down just a little bit, slowing down from 70 miles an hour down to 60 miles an hour, or 72 down to 60, you're going to save 20% of your fuel believe it, you're going to get over $1 a mile, over $1 a mile. I mean, over a mile per gallon every time. And if
can
you
I
can
tell
do
you,
that
Dave?
over a long
Can I
period
tell
of
you
time,
the some of the craziest arguments? And we do other shows besides this, but is the well, why would somebody want me to go slower? We hear those comments, right?
yeah, exactly. It's
you're
not
trying.
safe. It's not safe to go slow.
I'm saying, listen to me. Does it? I mean, who in their right mind doesn't understand if you go slower, you save fuel? And as a company driver, don't you want to drive that money towards your company? As an owner operator, Dave, don't you want to drive that money towards yourself? That going slower, it's not an opinion, I don't think, Dave.
No,
right? I think it's a fact.
It is. You push less air.
It's not fake news. If you go slower, you're going to save more fuel. And again, I've used this a million times, but if you watch NASCAR and they're getting towards their end, they're running on fumes, never have you heard them say, go faster.
No.
Never go faster. We want to save more fuel. We got to make it go fast. It's never that you coast, you do anything you can. Dave, you brought up a great point. Anything you can do to go slower as an independent contractor, you're putting money towards your pocket. And I'm not done there. Maybe you're driving for a fleet owner. Maybe that fleet owner has 5 trucks, 10 trucks, 20 trucks. Let me tell you, he or she, that business is having the same struggle right now. Yep. Dave, you as a driver, as a company driver, boy, can you, honest to God, I know that some folks can, but in general, why can't the company, or do you tell me this, do you believe that most company drivers are looking at the heart and the best interest of their company? And I'm talking about fuel, slowing down, making sure that you're not idling, when you don't have to, using the same advice that you gave the IC there. Boy, the company driver's got to do the same thing for their company.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you have an APU unit, and I'm just going to start with this. If you've invested $10,000 in an APU unit, and you understand the value behind using that every day consistently, how much money the return on investment will make, then you are saving the cash right now. If you don't use the APU unit, there is no return on the investment, and it is a lost value on the $10,000 down payment. And I'm just saying, look, let's be honest with each other. If you have an opportunity, look, I get it that it doesn't work as good as the big engine because it's a smaller engine, but it will make you find ways to help you out. Close the middle curtain, close the front curtain, secure your area, make it a little bit better for yourself. Understand that APU unit will save $50 a day if it's running. $50 a day right now. That's an incredible amount of savings.
$50 a day, Dave, on a fleet of 20, on a fleet of 50, a fleet of 400, 1,000. That is real cash that somebody has invested in there. Dave, we're not even talking about the greenhouse, right? That we're doing our portion as well, using that APU to, on the greenhouse effect, all of that, right? That we continue to talk about as well. David, is critical. And that company driver, to that point there, Dave. And boy, I wish we had phone lines right now because I can hear it right now. But what about when it's 180 degrees? I'm in Phoenix.
Okay.
You're telling me
that's not what we're talking about.
Thank you.
We're not talking about the exceptions. We're talking about the rule. We're talking about the day-to-day, every day that you're out there. Trust me, right now, this time of year, even though it may be warm in the daytime, like it was 90 degrees yesterday, last night it was 72 degrees at night. I mean, and this morning, and I'm just saying, it's not that hot at night. All right, and it's not, the sun's not beating down. I'm just saying, find ways to better value what you're doing and the reasons you're doing it. And even if you don't have an APU, there's a lot of companies, a lot of trucks don't have APUs. But I'm telling you, you've got to find a way to make it better. And if you can find a way to shut your truck off and be out of your truck a while, do that. And you know what,
Dave, look, and just so we can see more vision, on this. I love the visibility on this. Can you can see my screen?
Yeah, I'm gonna make you bigger.
Yeah, make that. Let me talk to that for a second. So if you're a company driver out there, if you're a fleet driver out there right now today, let me tell you something. 559 is not sustainable for your business. And unless you want to go out there and try to help put somebody out or make it a bigger struggle for them, let me tell you something. You've got to do more on your fuel. What can you do? One thing you can do is reduce your speed. Absolutely. One thing you can do is shut that truck off when you have that opportunity. Absolutely. Do what you can do, because 559, and if you just look at the last 30 days, Dave, I mean, this is craziness right here. If you look since May, let's just screw it. Let's just look at the last month. There's nowhere where it's going down, Dave. In the last month, we've gone from 5 to 560 a gallon. The company driver, the independent contractor, let me tell you something. You've got to make sure that you're doing all you can, because that fuel right now, that can put somebody, Dave, definitely out of business.
Yeah, and look, I get it. So here is the keys that you can. I get it, slowing down, and believe it or not, Sir Rick, when you talk about it and we talk about it, when you get to the fuel stop, shut it off, right? And when you're up under there, you get fuel, shut it. When you're going in to take your shower, you don't need to leave it out running cool. Just, you can always cool it back down. Do the things, the simple, small things. And here's a new one for you. Here's a new one for you. You have an opportunity. Enjoy a little bit of the outside of your truck. And try to be a little bit healthier. You know what I mean? Walk around, be outside. I am guilty of it too. You can't sit around and get out, get about 30 minutes of exercise, walking around and being comfortable and
walk around the truck, Dave. Do a pre-trip, do a post-trip, do little things like that as well, right? Do it twice.
Do what?
Do it twice, 3 times.
Doesn't hurt to check things twice, does it?
I mean, without a doubt, you bring up a good point. Hey, keep yourself healthy. Make sure you're looking at the pre-trip and the post-trip. All of these things that Dave, let's face it, at one point, I don't say every driver, but most drivers did all of this through time, through repetition, through bad habits. A lot of us got out of that habit, right? It's not important, or nobody else is doing it anyway. These, and all of a sudden it becomes this new group of drivers. They're all steering wheel holders. They don't do any of this, and because of that, we stopped doing it as well. We, the veterans, we stopped because the young group coming in, we say they're not doing it. Well, I think the problem is that we just don't do it anymore. Right. We have got to do a better job of going back and looking at that equipment. We have got to do a better job of getting it fixed. That's a trucking company, right?
Yeah, we do have. We've got a lot to do to get it. I mean, we've got a lot to do. There are little things that we can do and develop even better habits. I'll tell you what, Sir Rick, and I'm just going to make this point. We were lucky last year and the year before in this business, and we did very well to create bad habits and didn't focus on the little things. Yep. We took advantage of the moment, and we did everything that we could to ensure that we had, we just tried to we were making money. We all thought we were geniuses, and we didn't focus on the little things, right, that mattered at the time, because there was so much, the table was full of food, right? And no matter where you scooped, you got a plate full. But right now, it's not as much out there on the table, and you gotta clean your plate. You gotta make sure you clean your plate, because there may not be as much tomorrow as there was yesterday, and that you just got to make sure you take care of the little things and refocus on some of the things that we got lazy on, right, Sir Rick? I mean, let's be honest. We all thought we were awesome in this business last year, but where were we?
But it wasn't just us, Dave. Let me tell you, a lot of bad habits got created by the shippers, from the receivers, from the consumers, saying, I'll pay anything for this. And yes, from the trucking industry, figuring out, not worrying about the little things, not worrying about the analysis, the data. And that's where we got to make sure we get back to the basics, understand your data, where it's at, know where your profit is, get back to that moment. And Dave, again, I'm going to say we need to We need to do maybe a 3-part series on that for the independent contractor, the fleet owner, heck, trucking company. And I think we all got to go back to the basics and make sure we know what data we're looking at and how to use it. Drive Safe Dave at 7:30. I know you got who you got in there today, Dale?
Double Check Dale's in here managing. You should see this guy handling up on his map over here. I'm almost getting. He's over here jacking with the weather map. He's trying to change the weather in the country. I didn't know you could do it from here, but he's doing everything.
I like that. That's what I'm talking about. That's technology. That's making things happen, making it sunshine all over the place. Hey, Drive Safe Dave, let's go do a break by Utility ProWear. Utility ProWear, folks. Let me tell you something. We talk about transportation. We talk about that. You've got to be seen. I don't care if you're sitting in a hotel. I don't care if you're sitting out there on the road. If you're broke down, you must have that protective gear on, and none better than Utility ProWear. Go to utilityprowear.com, type in BCB20 to get and obtain these kinds of outfits at a 20% discount. Drive Safe Dave. We'll be back with more BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
This segment has been brought to you by Utility ProWear. Utility ProWear manufactures high-quality, ANSI-certified, high-visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with the Teflon fabric protector, Utility ProWear gives you the added benefit of providing a barrier to liquids, dirt, and grime, keeping you cleaner longer, brighter longer, and therefore safer longer. Get your high visibility apparel by going to utilityprowear.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount. All right, and we are back. This is Drive Safe Dave along with Double Check Dale. How are you doing this morning, sir? It's going to be windy in Wyoming today. When is it not? I'd be shocked you come in here. I think I want to report every week on when it's not windy in Wyoming. I think I'd feel more comfortable or more shocked at the moment when you said, hey, drive safe.
Do that. Hey, like I said, so later this afternoon, that's where the winds are really hanging out. We are seeing some stronger winds pick up in Nebraska, western Nebraska, and again, that's no surprise to anybody. Parts of Kansas are going to be windy this afternoon, but just not the winds that we've seen recently, in Texas and, yesterday, if you remember yesterday, Arizona, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Colorado were all very windy, and it's just not going to be that way today, so you have some good traveling there. The other thing that's happening is the thunderstorms, they're not quite as widespread right now. Currently, there's not a whole lot going on. A little bit of a thunderstorm going up in eastern Kansas, south central Texas, seeing some rain. Mississippi, seeing a thunderstorm going on up there. Hey, Idaho has some snow in the higher elevations, rain in the lower elevations, but still seeing some snow showers up in the higher ones there. But as we go into this afternoon, not a lot going on until we get to the later part of the afternoon, early evening. Then we see a band of thunderstorms stretching from just about central Texas up through Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, eastern Iowa, parts of Illinois, and Wisconsin.
Hey, you got what mic you got, brother?
I have got guests.
And are you on?
I am on.
Oh, okay.
So I'm doing all this talking. Nobody's hearing.
I think we're having a little bit of an issue. I got you on, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on with your mic, but we'll keep going.
Okay, so, like I said, so the rain and storms are going up through, the central part there in the overnight hours. Also seeing a little bit of thunderstorms through Louisiana and Arkansas. The Atlantic coast is seeing some rain this evening. Not really supposed to expecting any severe storms out there at this point. So that's what's going on rain-wise. And if we look at temperatures, You know, it's summertime. No, it's not. It's still spring. It's summertime type temperatures. You know, we look at this afternoon through most of the United States, especially the central part. Look at all the oranges and reds. The oranges are 80s and 90s, all the way from Texas, all the way up into Wisconsin. Green Bay, Wisconsin is 83 degrees this afternoon. So, you know, even though it's early or mid-May, lots of hot temperatures going on around there. Tomorrow, your weekend, you know, tomorrow what are the temperatures going to do? Another hot day for most of the central United States. Not quite as hot up north, only 77 up in Green Bay tomorrow afternoon, but the 90s here in Texas, Oklahoma, 80s, high 80s. And so very warm weekend coming up, but just overall not too bad. So with that, we will take a short break and come back and talk safety.
All right. This segment has been brought to you by Utility ProWear. Utility ProWear manufactures high-quality, ANSI-certified, high-visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with the Teflon fabric protector, Utility ProWear gives you the added benefit of providing a barrier to liquids, dirt, and grime, keeping you cleaner longer, brighter longer, and therefore safer longer. Get your high-visibility apparel by going to utilityproware.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount. All right, everybody, and we are back with BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Had a little mic issue a second ago, but I think we got it all figured out. We're going to push on. The show must go on, Dale.
The show must go on.
The show must go on, so don't be scared, okay? We're going to push through it. We're going to find a way to be better at what we do. And right now, we got it going on. I think everybody can hear you just fine now. I had a sound check done while you were, while we were on commercial, and I think we're crushing it now. I think we got it locked in.
Well, I sure hope so, because it'd be a shame to, you know, spew all this valuable information with nobody hearing it, man.
With nobody hearing. All right, so here we are. We are fast approaching next week. We are fast approaching the moment in which we're going to have the blitz in the country, right?
Yep. Roadside blitz.
Roadside blitz.
Happens every year. It's no surprise.
It's not a shocker.
Nope.
We're not real sure of which week it is every year. It's announced early, though,
yep.
Like in January. It's announced early. And then they tell us not only when it is, but what they're going to be focusing on.
Yeah, gives you some time to prepare for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? That way they say, you know what? The officer says, you know what? We told you in January what was happening. We were coming to visit, and you didn't clean house before we got here. And now you want to know why we're upset that it's not clean.
Yep. Now you want to know why we're writing you a ticket.
Now you're shocked we're writing you a ticket. Now we're doing a shocking moment. All right, what are we talking about? It's Friday. What are we talking about to wrap up the week?
You know what, Dave? We're talking about one of your favorite subjects, seatbelts. You know, of all the violations out there, this one's 100% preventable.
This one doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, why you would get one. It's 100% preventable. Put your seatbelt on, leave it on until they come to your door and open it up and they see that you have it on. Wear your seatbelt. You know, it's a top 5 violation for most companies, which is just surprising as all get out. You know, and some drivers, you know, attempt to fasten their seatbelts as they're rolling down that lane going into the scale house. Guys, they got cameras. They're watching that. They know, you know, who has it on when they're rolling through there. So just wear it. Do the right thing. When you start your engine up, before you start your engine up, click it. Make it click, man, and wear that seatbelt at all times.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you, and I know this is controversial and everything, but I will tell you that the driver facing camera, that's one of the most that right there has always made seat belts more. People put them on, tend to develop the habit of wearing the seat belt more when they actually have that camera. I'm saying that it doesn't. I'm not saying it does not happen. But I'm saying that it is a good argument that driver-facing cameras actually help people wear their seatbelt more.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that the ECM is recording. So if you're ever in an accident and they pull your ECM, they'll know whether your seatbelt was on at the time of the accident.
Yeah, they can actually tell if that seatbelt is locked, if that little red light is on, hey, wear your seatbelt or what have you. But But I don't, beyond all that other stuff of the driver facing camera and the ECM and everything like that, look, we want you to know we care about you.
Yeah.
We want you to know that, believe it or not, we in this industry need you to be here. We need you to be here not only for the industry, but for your family and for life itself. And we love all life. And we want you to be protected. And the easiest way to create the opportunity to survive any crash, Dale, is, I mean, straight off the bat, you give yourself a 75% better odd of surviving if you just put your seatbelt on.
Surviving or lessening the severity of it, because it holds you in place, it keeps you in front of the controls when you have that seatbelt on. Because if you get thrown out of that seat in the first part of the accident, there's nobody driving the bus. If it keeps you in front of those controls, you at least have some opportunity to make some corrections and maybe pull it out or lessen the severity of it.
Yeah, it just amazes me with, really, seriously, seatbelts are important. Put it on!
Yep.
We're going to talk about it, but put it on. If you're not wearing it right now,
put it on!
Put it on! I mean, seriously, put it on. When you get in that chair and before you turn on the truck, put it on. You don't let people get it. You don't let kids crawl in the vehicle and not put their seatbelt on. Why? Because you care about them. And we want you to care about yourself, right? We want you to care about yourself. We want you to be protected, and understand it's the law.
Yeah.
It's the law.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. It's like doing that pre-trip. It helps you get started on the day with something safety. Because what's a pre-trip about? It's about safety. It's about protecting lives. It's about finding defects. It's the same thing when you get in that truck and you make it click. You buckle up. It gets that mindset going, hey, I need to be the safest person I can be today. And seatbelts help you do that.
Yeah, and my question to that is, wouldn't it be awesome if not one seatbelt ticket was given during the blitz in at all anywhere in the country?
That would be that'd be awesome, Dave. That'd be above awesome.
I mean, that would be cool if we could get the word out. Every single person that's listening here, put your seatbelt on. We want you to be protected, and I don't care about the blitz. I don't care about anything else other than the fact that it saves your life. It saves your life, and it saves the lives of those around you because you maintain control of the vehicle if something happens. And I want you to be there, and I want you to walk away.
Amen.
I want you to walk away.
I want you to get home to see your loved ones.
Absolutely. Put your seatbelt on. And if you have a problem with your seatbelt, if it's not comfortable, it doesn't fit right, there are extensions.
Yep.
There are ways in which they can be made to fit right, and make sure you notify your company. Make sure you notify somebody. A seatbelt extension is $18.
Well worth the money.
$18.
One of the best investments you could ever make.
$18. Yeah. Seriously, $18. That's the seatbelt extension. You know what? If you got a problem, let me know, and we'll figure out how to get you. You know what I mean? That's how important it is. That's what it is. It can't be because it's too tight. Can't be. It's supposed to be snug, right? You get that, right? I mean, there's a reason it's snug. It keeps you snug. There's a reason. Yeah. It's supposed to be a little snug, right? It's supposed to be. It's supposed to keep you a little confined. It's designed that way. But anyway, I digress. Seatbelt's a big deal to me.
Put them on.
Put them on. All right, let's watch some videos.
Okay, let's do that.
All right.
Oh, look at this one. We're coming up on an accident and everything. What I'm showing, and as much as I hate showing accidents, I love showing because we can learn something from a driver doing a great job. One, keeping the speed way down. Two, giving it as wide a berth as you can, because this one, again, looks like it's pretty fresh. People are moving about and everything, and sometimes, those first responders, even though they're trained for this, don't always think of what they're doing, step out a little bit further than they should. So when you have that speed knocked way down and you're giving them as wide a berth as possible, it makes it safer and better for everybody. Just hate showing the accidents, but it's what can we learn from them.
And I'm watching this video and I'm trying to get some, just kind of look at it. I'm going to tell you, that looked like a pre-pass deal above that you pass underneath right there. That looks like a pre-pass signal for a scale house up ahead. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. I'm thinking that maybe guys were slowing down and moving over to the right and something happened and weren't paying attention, and there's where we ended up. Yeah. Because a lot of things, when they see that or they get that that the scale house is coming up, they're trying to reach for their seatbelt.
Yeah.
And why weren't you wearing it before you got here? Anyway, I'm just saying, and if you would have been wearing your seatbelt there, there's a good chance you won't be riding home in one of those things.
Yeah.
All right.
But good job by the driver getting it slow and everything
Here
like
you
that.
go.
So
here's a nighttime shot.
what we got going on here? It's a merge lane coming up. We got a merge, and a couple things are happening. A couple merge points. The driver, gets to slow down, gets the merge, and all of a sudden, just about out of nowhere, comes that four-wheeler pass in. A couple double white lines and everything. So it's really about situational awareness. What's going on? Where are the merge points at? Making sure we have that big picture. Looking in our mirrors and checking everything. Just crazy stuff we see every day out here. What you got, Dave?
Well, and I get it. And look, I want to see your videos. If you have videos to send in, thank y'all for sending in these videos. Whoever sent these in, we try to maintain anonymity with whatever you send in the video to show us, to learn from, and to understand what's going on and who's going on. I will tell you, there's no chance that the driver did anything wrong here. He's just merging in well ahead of everybody else. This guy just does what he does and goes around. You know what? I'm also going to say there's no need to flash the guy that passed you. I mean, there's no need. I mean, it is what it is. You're not going to stop crazy. You're not going to
fix stupid.
You're not going to fix stupid. I just, right here in the end, I think the driver flat. But I'll tell you what, I want everybody to understand, do the right thing to begin with, and I think you're going to be okay out there in the long run. There's nothing here that you could have done about this. This guy chose to go around you at a high rate of speed and leave the roadway to do so. Basically left the roadway lane, and chose to do so. So, yeah, crazy stuff. All right, here we go.
We're going to get up following distance is going to become an issue here again. And we just got to remember to slow it down. Don't get yourself in this situation where you're too close when you're pulling out. And then, again, right now we're in a tailgating situation. We go from one tailgating situation, actually start out pretty good with distance, but when the car changes lanes, now we're changing right back over into the other one. We have a tailgate situation there. Now we have a tailgate situation in this other lane. Just have to pack your patience, slow it down a little bit, increase that space. Know that four-wheelers or big trucks even, may cut you off, may change lanes when you don't expect it. Just slow it down a little bit, maintain your space. Own that space in front of you.
That's actually a good video, man. I'm glad you showed this one. And I understand a little bit why, the driver's moving over to the right lane. He's got a clear space in front of him, and then this guy moves in front of him. Okay, so he's taking away my safety net. But here we go back into the hammer lane, and we don't increase our space and value our safety lane anymore. And I'm not sure. We just got to recognize this and understand we got to just back off a little bit. And I'm just talking right here, back off just a little bit, and you're good. But instead we close. And I'll tell you what, that's where we're trying to catch everybody. That's what we're trying to show people these videos, is just to help out and understand what we're trying to do is recognize these moments and back off a little bit. And once you recognize, I get it. Hey, I get into this, right? I'm doing it. I'm driving down the road, and the next thing I know, I'm up close to somebody. The secret is just recognize it and back off.
Yeah, you look at this, when we're out in that left lane, we have that Jersey wall there. So when we have somebody to our right and somebody too close in front of us, if things go south, we have no out, and especially with that Jersey wall there. So you just really got to have that big picture and pack your patience, folks.
All right. Oh, we got some traffic barrels.
Yeah, this one's kind of interesting because right there you have some joggers or somebody running up the roadway with their safety vest on. At least they have their safety vest on. So I got thinking about this. I don't know if they're joggers. If they are,
no, they're not joggers. They're pushing the barrels off. See, notice how the traffic barrels.
That's what I was going to say. The second part of it is I think maybe they're construction workers running up there. Usually we see a vehicle moving them.
They should have.
They should have, because they're putting themselves in a dangerous situation.
Yeah, they
are. Interesting video. Glad the driver sent this one in, because it is interesting to look at.
Yeah, I want to watch that one again. Let's watch it again.
Just push play.
Here you go. Here they are. They're coming up to pull the cones across. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, most of the time you'll see a vehicle with some emergency lights, some flashing lights going on, and carrying them back up there. But just a weird thing. And like I said, you see the strangest things out there when you're driving. And that's the first time I've ever seen people moving barrels out, running up the roadway without that vehicle around them, protective vehicle around them.
That's scary, actually.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of scary. All right. Yeah, they need to have a vehicle up there. That's a long way back to walk.
Yeah, I don't know if the vehicle. It's a super.
They
made their supervisor man. They said, "I'm gonna drop you off down here. Move all those barrels up and walk that way."
Yeah, off the road. There's a little difficult time there. All right, here we go. Next one.
You know, if you're going to tailgate, watch these four-wheelers here. This is how it's done, folks. It's just way, way too close. There's not 20 feet between those two vehicles there.
Wow.
Again, tailgating is never a good situation. And to show it, it just goes to show what you guys, drivers, see out there every day. Just have to stay away from the chaos, back off from it, because that's aggressive driving. That's just stupid driving when they get that close. Wow, no out for a lot of people in that situation.
Yeah, and I do like the truck here that comes over. He wants to get out of the way. He wants to avoid that, and signals to do so. Lets the driver know, hey, this guy's pushing me. I'm going to get over and get out of this. Driver's moving away. Everything about I do like the pickup truck, what he's doing and everything. Being courteous, driving, passing slowly on the left, doing what he's supposed to do, and then gets out of the way and not impeding traffic. This guy in this other car, he's busy. He got somewhere to be.
Yeah, and it's just aggressive driving. It just puts everybody else around him on edge, makes them a little bit nervous. The infamous rolling stop sign, I think we get down to about 8 miles an hour going through this one. Stop still means stop. 7 isn't a stop. 6 isn't a stop. Need to stop because, again, we have a divided highway. We have traffic coming from both directions. You have to take that look to left.
I was looking to see if it had that "if you want" on that sign.
Oh.
Stop if you want.
And the optional flashing above it, stop
the optional stop sign. I was kind of looking for that optional.
Yeah. Glance and roll.
Glance and roll. That's like a bob and weave. That's kind of a technique. Doesn't always keep you from getting the fist punch on the chin, but it helps, right? But I'm telling you, the rule of law is to stop at this. The guy on the left's doing it, and we take no heed.
Yeah, it's one of failure to obey a sign, failure to obey traffic control device is one of the most common unsafe driving violations out there. And when we see something like this, this is why. This is failure to obey a traffic sign. So stop means stop.
Stop does mean stop. And I'm just going to tell you, as we talk about it, that it wasn't this sign that was up there. It wasn't the yield sign.
Oh.
That's not the sign that was up there.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
It's a yield. It was a stop sign. And you know what? Recognizing, identifying, and obeying the signs that are out there on the road are necessary in order to be successful out there and to protect yourself. Because all these signs are designed and set and have meaning. You should see some of the cool books.
But Dave, if I'm a driver and I don't stop, I don't burn as much fuel. I'm just saving fuel. What do you got there?
But you're not saving a life. I don't. There's not enough fuel in the world that is worth anybody's life. And I'm just telling you, you gotta come to a complete stop here and then wait for the intersection to clear and to make sure it's safe. But you've got to come to a complete stop.
Yeah, you have to obey the law.
You have to move forward and look around and look. Yeah, I get it. If you have to stop and then roll forward to see around a corner or see behind a block or a tree, I get all that. But you still have to come to a complete stop prior to moving. And roll stops don't count. I know the reason we show this video is because we've all been severely guilty of this.
Without a doubt.
I can tell you with 100% certainty, I've done this very thing. And it's not good.
Nope.
Right? And it's not the right thing to do. It's not what I want you to emulate at all when I don't do it right.
But I'll tell you with 100% certainty, since we've started showing these videos and watching them, I have gotten a lot better about making sure every stop sign that I roll up to, that I do stop for. I don't do that California roll.
Let me just tell you, this one right here on the corner that I go when I leave the building, Drive Safe Dave. Drive Safe Dave makes sure he stops that sign.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I don't want anybody from here, or I don't want anybody to see me leave the building and not stop 100%, because Because I can't walk into the building and somebody not hammer me if I don't do something right when it comes to driving out there.
Somebody shows you a video. Hey, Dave, does this vehicle look familiar?
Yeah, is that your pickup truck, Drive Safe Dave? Were you the one? Trust me, I've been there, done that, not interested.
Yep, absolutely. So stop means stop, and like I said, that's why we show the videos. That's why we love it when the drivers send this type of video in so we can share it with them.
Unfortunately,
how do we get better?
Yeah, I will tell you that I will. I can't be here this coming Monday. I've got jury duty.
You can't be here next Monday?
No, I got to be here. I got jury duty. I got called into my civic duty. I got to go be a juror.
Have you already been accepted, or is this just like a pre-screening because Dave?
No, I got my badge and everything. I've got my go down there. I got my juror badge and all that stuff. It came in the mail. I've not been on any case. I'll probably get waived. My father was a police officer, and whenever I fill out that voir dire form and say it was an immediate family member, police officer, and yes, and then I usually
juror 12 out.
You're out of here. You are so out of here. But I still have to go down. I don't have any. I can't go. Well, I can't. I don't have any kids at home anymore, and I don't. By the way,
being a juror.
It's my civic duty. I got to go do it, and I'm not shunning it. But we all know it's a long day. It's a long day down there at the courthouse.
But at least you're going down there for something on the good side instead of being called down because
I'm not actually in the case.
You're the one in front of the judge.
I'm not the one in front of the judge. And you know what? And you don't want to be. No, you don't want to be.
No,
and you don't want to be on the defendant side. I mean, the plaintiff side's one thing, but the defendant, that's usually not a good thing. But anyway, I digress. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and close with a quick prayer so we can get out of here. Dear Heavenly Father, we gather before you today on this Friday to say thank you. To say thank you for everything that you do and everything that you are going to do for us. Father, we appreciate every moment that we have here on this earth. And we thank you for that. And we ask that you help us to be better in each of those moments. Help us to be better for ourselves and those around us. Father, watch out for the drivers out there on the road. Protect them and guide them and give them the ability to make great decisions today and be the safest they've ever been today. Father, we want to appreciate all that we have and be thankful for what we have. And not take for granted what we do have in this world. We ask all these things in your name we pray. Amen. Hey, everybody, have a great, wonderful day. And it is going to be an awesome weekend. Be safe, be careful, and thank you. And Dale, who are they watching?
They are watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day.